see how that thing does.
You know, do you have a preference in direction?
I'm starting to really like counterclockwise.
I've always loved counter, but I just can't ever make up my mind which I like better. I think I'm leaning towards counter, but I love them both. But 3-2-1 counter makes my day.
Right? Yeah.
It just makes my day.
All right, so this is Harris Hill going counterclockwise with Steve Metz. All right, tracking out, and we don't have the cones up, so I get to figure out if I know how to run this track in reverse, but I think I do.
Yeah.
So we're exiting out to here. That's all right. So then the turn-in
That
cone
cone's a little late.
A little late. So we do the turn-in here. We come around through the left-hander. So we're in turn 9. This is throttle on. And I bend the car to the left, and I get really close on the left-hand side here, but I don't necessarily wait. We usually have the turn-in
cone is the turn-in cone,
but I don't usually use that. I'm turning in before that and coming. You use that? Yep. You get all the way out there?
I do, and this is the turn 8 apex. This
apex, and one of the things that happens here is you get a little bit of elevation, which gives you some front grip as you're exiting here.
Yep, and that's
we've got the down. And I don't exit all the way left. Do you?
Yeah, I have to.
You do?
I'm carrying the speed.
We're talking GT3. Is that right?
Yeah, I exit all the way out. Even in a Miata, I exit all the way out.
And this is a braking trail brake all the way down to the apex here, which is typically near these rumble strips.
Yep, right there, yep.
And then we exit to track out here. And here, the mistake most people make is lifting going into turn 6. This is an extremely fast, very fast corner where
you have complete line of sight too in this corner, the only one we have out here.
And I exit about 2/3 of the way across because it gets a little bumpy on the outside and there's no real reason. And I bend left, and I use this white line as a braking reference point in terms of I'm not necessarily braking there, but it tells me to start prepping. Yep. And this is a late turn in, and it's a patience course. Yep. And if you can come across it even here, I find that like if I like doing this late because I give it a nice blip of throttle coming up the hill, and then come into here and then go back to trail braking in order to get that car to tuck in and get to the apex here.
Totally blind on the exit. You just got to trust it.
You got to trust, and you roll on the throttle, and we typically have the apex cone out right about here.
There, you nailed it. Yep, that's exactly right.
And again, if we're running for lap times and we're not worried about the car, then we're going to run a more traditional line where we all the way out here start bending that car in, and then we have a target turn-in cone here coming into 2 where we bend that car down, and the apex is more around here, and then we let the car out to the right side a bit, bend back, and this is critical, get the car left and carry throttle all the way through this apex and out to the track out cone. And then again, this is a little bit of patience. You wait a little bit longer before you turn in.
Everybody turns in here too early.
Too early.
You're doing it perfect. That's going to be
come through.
That down cone is your apex.
And then I'm looking at that tree in a fast car in order to set myself up and line myself up with the left hand curbing here.
Wow.
And I break down right.
No, I do a very different line than that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You come out wide?
Yep. Because the line I take through 11 allows me to be all the way over to the right anyway while I carried all the speed, and I've opened up 10. I've opened up the radius
and it's
10.
Worth it to open up 10.
It is for me because I'm full throttle. I'm not full throttle, but I'm a massive amount of throttle from 10 down here.
Now I'm literally like, I want to go run some lap times and see what the difference is. So I come down here. I mean, this is totally a throwaway, but you are using, and I guess I do at speed. It's difficult to do it at half speed.
It is difficult.
And I come about 2/3 of the way across.
I'm about maybe a little farther.
Right.
And then I cheated a little bit, so I have a little bit of the car's aimed a little bit before I'm even turning it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you get a little bit more rotation early.
Yes. Okay. And then that's a everybody apexes that one too early too. And
agreed. A later apex means you're going to the throttle harder.
And you're missing a bump. It's not very pleasant. So if you get all the way into that apex, you're going to miss the bad part of the bump.
2/3 of the way out over here. And again, this is mainly kind of a reference point for me. And then you want to be braking, and I feel like you really want to be trail braking all the way down to get that car to rotate here. People go to the throttle way too early here, and then they end up having the car wash all the way across to the left side.
I want it to wash across.
You want it to?
I carry.
So then
speed.
you're doing the line into here where you come into here and you're. No?
I carry all of it I carry all that speed out of 5 and let the car move left. And then I have enough time to get the car back to the middle of the road as I'm coming up the hill.
Really?
And I enter 4 at about the middle, trail braking it to keep the front axle engaged.
Yeah.
And then when you get it right, man, you're on the throttle early, and if you can trust that totally blind exit.
All right, so I'm taking the alternate line into 3, which is I turn in early, drive the car out here, bend it in. That softens that bump.
Yep.
And then I come through 2, and this is right around where the apex cone is. We let it out, and depending upon how much track I need to use, but it's critical to get left here, down to that apex, and then it's throttle on all the way on to the track out.
Listen, it's not a straight line to your track out cone, but it's damn straight.
Yeah.
Which allows you to carry a ton of throttle.
And so, all right.
So I do exactly, keep coming right, keep coming right.
Keep coming right.
Just like this, because that's my apex. And now I'm right just like this. I'm all the way right.
Right
and
here.
And that pole is actually a great turn-in reference, that pole.
Serious?
And then you turn it.
And then you bend in?
Yep.
So then you're likely carrying a lot more speed than I am exiting here?
Yes, I'm carrying a lot of speed because it's hard to describe, but I've flattened out my angle across the apex.
But
instead of coming around the apex, I'm coming across it a little bit more. And it's probably not a whole lot, but it's something because I'm carrying throttle all the way.
And are you still getting grip, or are you washing wide here?
Here?
Back into...
No, because I don't do what you just did in 9. I do... Well, we ought to just do another one with me driving.
Yeah.
And I'll just show you. And then, you know, different strokes for different folks. I know guys who drive different lines than me, and they're every bit as fast.
Yeah, I'm just now I'm like really curious to see what would happen if I changed mine up. So I think we're both in agreement. We're rotating through here. Yes. That was probably a little early on the turn in, maybe.
A little bit, but you know what? Depending on the car, it works. But yeah, a little bit. I mean, 7. I work here. I've been here since the place opened, driving this place. More cars fly off in turn 7 than any other corner we have, and I honestly don't quite get it. I don't think it's that difficult of a corner. I actually think it's a fairly boring corner, but I think people just don't get their eyes where they need to be, and they just don't, damn it, slow down enough. Everybody gets in too hot. And if you get in too hot and you turn in too early, where do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, not good at all. You're going to be off the outside of the track.
Yeah.
Come in here, and then I can usually get some rotation from trail braking to get it down to the apex nice and tight. And then it's throttle on, and I'm looking for what we usually have the track out going right out there.
You hit the mark right there. That's where it is. Yep, yeah. Exactly right.
I've been here once or twice. So then one of the things I want to call out before we trade off is coming through here, one of the big mistakes people would make is not waiting to brake long enough, and then also you target fixate on the grass. Yeah. If it goes wrong, all you have to do is open this corner up and stay outside here, because you can just carry the speed and bleed it off all the way through. Yeah. That's your crisis. That's your out during the bad situation. Yeah. And again, going back to it, our turn in here, we talked about it before, get down to that apex, because every foot that you're closer on that apex is a foot on the left side.
Especially counterclockwise at turn 1.
Yeah.
Because if you go off counterclockwise at track out of turn 1, you are hauling the mail, and it's not a good ride.
Yeah. Coming through here, and again, I like this.
That's exactly what I do. Because now look, I'm all the way over here.
Yep.
And I trail brake. I trail brake it halfway to the apex.
All the way through. Yeah, it makes sense. So then you're coming
on the throttle.
And then you're back on the throttle.
And I've got a shallower line because I'm not coming around the apex so much as coming across it.
Okay, so then
I stay out here, and I just take this, just what you're doing. I just take this long lazy arc that ends up putting me right like you're doing. So when I come out,
and I just son of a bee.
Because most people, they carry so much speed they end up in the middle of the road. Now they have to turn left to go right.
Yeah.
That slows you down.
Yeah.
If you get that long lazy arc, 9 counterclockwise, 9 and 11 to me are the exact same corner. They're even almost the same radius, right?
Yeah.
But you start wide and you take this long lazy arc to a super late apex. And that just allows you to keep progressive throttle going all the way around.
Bend in.
Yep,
that's like more what we do, right?
Exactly right.
And then throttle on.
And you're using all this out to here. Yep.
And then it's hammered down
lift for 6.
all the way. Yeah.
Like Jonathan said, everybody does this confidence lift, and you
There's no reason. There's no reason. You're just driving that car through here.
Yep.
Then it's brake.
This will be another trail breaker for sure.
Yep. To get that car rotated in, and then we're gonna trade off after this lap. I'm gonna let you go because I really want to know what you do coming through here.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm trying to find a good, like I'll get a nice blip on the throttle, and then I get some trail braking. That gives me energy to trail brake into here.
Yep.
Get that car rotated so that then I'm positioned where I want to be in order to be able to come over this rise at good speed.
Yep.
And then again, this is classic. This is a classic mistake that people make. I stay in the throttle through here, come over here, come over the bump, car settles, and then I brake all the way out here, grab that downshift, bend it in, hit that apex and carry throttle all the way through here, and don't lift on the throttle as you come over this rise. It's a classic mistake.
Everybody lifts before they turn over to the right for turn 1.
And there's no reason to. You just keep that car driving the whole way through.
Matter of fact, it actually kind of upsets the car more than it would if you just
little
stay
lift.
On, if you stay on the throttle. Yeah.
People like it for the safety because you do because you get a little bit better bite on the front.
It's a confidence lift. Yeah.
All right.
All the way out.
Yeah, and that's about.
And then I just take a couple of beats out here. And then I just take this long lazy arc like this, and it allows me to just keep adding throttle, and I end up right here for turn 8.
Boom. Okay, now then how do you run 8? So you do a late turn in.
Yep. And then I just take this long lazy arc.
And you're on the throttle, and it does dump you.
And I run it all the way out. I'm using all right. Now I come over to here, and I come in to about here, trail braking, and then you're bringing it in, and then you're running it all the way out. And then, like we say, people lift in 6. You don't need to. Running counterclockwise, you can't get a big enough head of steam to where I can't think of a single car I'm not flat. I
mean, only there's a couple of the supercars that I've been in where you need to be a little bit.
So this is what I do. So I'm gonna be hard on throttle, and I'm gonna let the car come out to here, and then I'm gonna bring it back like this.
All right.
And then I'm trail braking to about here, and then I start that smooth progressive throttle. And at the apex, if you get it right, you can already slowly start unwinding your hands. And you end up right by the red hash mark where the cone would normally be. Now this is one of my favorite sequences of corners in all of Texas. So if we're gonna run the regular line and run the bump, I cut the corner across this right by the grass. I'm already looking left, and I get a nice smooth turn in, and then I carry so much throttle that I end up out here, and I don't have to move my hands, and it brings me back over here to my turn in, and then I make this smooth weight transfer back to the apex, and then we're running it all the way out to the left for 11. And then I just do what you did your last couple of laps. I just take this long lazy arc, and I just allow, if I was in a car, I'd be keeping adding throttle. And then I come into 10, and I trail brake it to about here, and now I'm already onto some throttle, and I'm running it all the way out to here. And then I'm in no hurry. I take this long lazy arc, it puts me right there. And then, depending on the car, a little bit of trail brake to keep the nose engaged, and then you're back to throttle, and don't have to move your hands.
Get down to that apex.
And then you're just running all the way out to there. Bring it back over to the right for turn 7. Trail brake it to about there, and then this car is just a nice car. And then you're just going to run it out. Normally there's a cone right there. And then
again, throttle on all the way through
6. And it's a little bumpy as you're coming out to the track out.
Yeah.
It's not any car can handle it for the most part. And then when I'm coming down to 5, you're already looking right. You gotta find that apex. And then I'm on pretty dang hard throttle if I was on a hot one, and I let it run all the way to here, carrying that speed. I come back to about here. I trail brake to about here, and then I would be back onto some throttle. And then at the apex, I'm already starting to slowly unwind the wheel as I'm working it, and you can just carry. You can haul the mail down.
Gas on and open the wheel. That's everybody pinches the wheel. I see that. All right, so run it non-traditional.
I would go middle of the road.
And we get close to the grass.
And then I kind of do a little bit more of a diamond because I didn't have quite the right angle, but still, it doesn't kill too much speed. But then I'm just like
you really
I don't have to move my hands, and it brings me right back for my turn in. And then it's all about through that sequence right there. It's all about weight transfer. Because you got to get left and you got to get back right, and you're hauling. You're going pretty quick. You gotta have those quiet, smooth hands. Because if you're making that weight transfer at 75 miles an hour too quickly, things get rather ugly. Trail brake it in to about there, and then you're just on it, and you're just already unwinding slowly. And then, like I say, I'm in no hurry to get left. I just take this long.
And that's costing me time
long lazy
by not doing that.
And then this car, I would probably have to do some very light brake on the way in to keep that front axle. Does it push a little bit maybe on these high
speeds? It does because I'm not running a stagger. I am running a staggered setup. If it was square, it wouldn't.
Yeah, then it would be awesome.
That's why I need to. I've got them in the garage. Bend it in.
And then if you get all the way in here, it's a little bit less bumpy.
Yep.
It's still bumpy, but it's not as bad.
It is, and that's it. You have to run it real tight to avoid those bumps.
You do. Yes, you
yep.
do. Track out's right about there if you're really on it. And then I've grown to love turn 5 counterclockwise, man. It's just such a nice corner. And then I would run it out to here.
Yep.
It just allows me to carry a lot of speed. I still have time to get to about where I want to be on the way in.
And you can trail brake it as you need to, and then you're accelerating out, and you're carrying really nice speed out.
Really nice speed out.
That's awesome.
It's a good track, man. It keeps you busy.
It does. It's awesome. And having it go in 2 directions, you get 2 tracks at the same time.
2 tracks for the price of 1, and you don't get quite so bored or set in your ways, you know?
Not at all.
And that's kind of the cool thing about a track, is that it's cool to go out and ride with somebody and get a different perspective.
No doubt.
It's always cool, because Jonathan and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. I learned something a month and a half ago from a guy who'd never been on a track. He just did something by accident, and I thought, wow.
It worked.
That really worked.